Alt 98.7 and Hits 96. My name's Gino D. Thank you for joining us today. I have the privilege of sitting with the 502s. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Real quick, we're going to get ourselves started here. I know there's numerous other members of the band. You guys are a six-piece. But first, just because you're the three here, why don't you introduce yourselves, tell what you do for the band, what kind of instruments you play. I know you guys all play multiple instruments and do multiple things. So kind of just set it up so we know who we're talking to.
Cool. My name's Ed. I play banjo and lead vocals for the band.
Hey, Matt, I play piano and lead guitar, but stand playing acoustic.
Hey, I'm Joe, saxophone, trumpet behind the scenes, and a little background vocals.
And like I said, there's a couple other members of the band too, so you guys are a six-piece and kind of known for the eclectic instruments. You guys have quite a bit going on with that, so I want to get into that in a little bit. But first, why don't we start kind of from the beginning? I know, Ed, that you were kind of the one that kind of started this ball rolling and how you guys all came together. So, and I know you have different backgrounds, each of you, in music. So let's talk about just kind of how the beginning and how the 502s got started.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, the band started off with a couple of my cousins, and we were mostly just learning Mumford & Sons covers and wanted to do an open mic. We learned some songs, we played that. We entered a Battle of the Bands thing, we played a festival with Mumford & Sons.
Cool.
We won that, and then that's kind of where the name the 502s came from and stuck. We used the $500 we won from that to record our first EP, and from that point on, kind of started pulling more people into the band.
Okay.
Matt went to middle school with my cousin who was in the band at the time, and they were friends on Facebook. I don't know how well you guys actually knew each other, didn't at that point in time, but kind of hit Matt up. He was in a different band at the time, asked him to come out and give us some professional pointers on what music is and isn't at a show we were doing.
Sure.
And so he came, we met him the next day. He showed up with a notepad full of notes that we could improve on. Kind of just steamrolled from there into doing some shows with us, and then maybe 6 months later or so, we did an album that he helped produce, and from there on, that was kind of the first domino to fall, so to speak, of people coming into the band. Joe was not far behind that. We went to high school together. He was in the Orlando music scene, and same thing, hit him up. He came and did a show, and great musician, but good guy too, and we all kind of just got along. And
cool.
So then he came in, same thing with drummer Sean and bass player Nick and our guitar player Gracie. So really from the early days, it's been this really nice evolving thing. It's been cool.
Excellent. You mentioned the $500 of the 502, but I also read that it was what is it, an address? Is that?
Oh yeah, the $500 and the 502 is different.
I was gonna say, wow, my
close.
research was wrong.
No. The $500 they gave us was just like, here's a stipend for your travel that we used for recording stuff. But the 502 is my address.
Okay, all right. Just making sure that Wikipedia is still correct.
If not, pretty sure Matt updated.
I was gonna say, if not, Matt,
I keep an eye on that. Make sure nobody's writing anything.
you might want to update.
I take personal offense to
Yeah.
correct me.
When it comes to such a large group now, let's talk about the creative process behind the songwriting and how you guys approach it. I can only imagine maybe in the beginning that was maybe your idea when it gets started, how the music started, but now you get 5 different opinions to work with. So what's the creative process for the 502s?
Yeah, I think the start of the songs has remained mostly the same, where I've started doing a little co-writing, but usually we'll come in with like an idea of a chorus or some chord structures or some lyrics and kind of bring that to everybody, and then we will kind of just build out everybody's parts. I mean, everybody will build out their parts rather.
Sure.
So.
And is that how it kind of works with the instrumentation too then? How do you start deciding, well, this one we're going to use a banjo, this one we're going to use a saxophone? How does that process look?
I think that's just kind of like having
available.
Having a lot of tools in the shed.
Yeah,
this is what
it
we're
feels
gonna
like we're really constantly writing with all the different instruments and different. Everybody in the band plays multiple instruments, so it's like we're kind of more chasing a feeling than we are a sound, frankly. And it's not done when the recording is made. We're always trying to figure out the best way to work every song into the live show as well. So it's a really constantly evolving process, but it's fun. It really gets everybody involved and great.
I can see it could be fun because, we tried it with the banjo, now let's switch it up a little bit and try it with different things. And then again, with 6 different opinions going on, that has to be sometimes fun, yet frustrating maybe?
It's usually pretty fun, honestly. I mean, the good thing is that most everybody plays stringed instruments. Our bass player Nick's a great string player too, and so really we'll just have some instruments around and be like, okay, like Matt was saying, let's try it with piano and banjo right now. It's like, okay, well that doesn't sound great, so let's try it with this and this instead. Definitely there are it takes a while sometimes, but I don't know. I think everybody at the end of the day is pretty receptive to how everyone else is feeling, and we all want all 6 of us to feel like that was sick, that was awesome, we love it. So there's this kind of unspoken acceptance that like, well, we got to get to a place where all of us are like really loving it to go forward, and that kind of helps the process. Know when the process is done and not
For
done.
sure.
I think there's a lot of loyalty to the best version of the song, no
Yeah.
matter what that is.
Yeah.
It's not like I have to do this or that, musically speaking.
Yeah.
It seems like you all have an understanding. It's open forum type thing. You get something, let us know, and we can see if
Yeah.
we can work it out. It's very cool. The most recent album, self-titled, that's at the release. I know you guys have numerous EPs before that, 2 other albums that you've released. How have you feel? What's new about this album compared to maybe your previous projects? How has the sound evolved, or has it?
Yeah, I mean, I think this album, the main difference is that we had more tools available to us, that we could, different types of guitars, cellos, different types of banjos, just like different things that we didn't previously have that maybe we had always hoped to hear on a 502's album, but now we could actually implement. So that was kind of the big thing for me of actualizing the sound of, oh, this is what we always thought we could be.
It's cool.
And now we're able to actually put it on a record.
Yeah, it's our first album recorded outside of Orlando, actually. We
Okay.
went to Nashville and really got to work with some of the most talented producers and
Nice.
collaborators in the world. So it's really a privilege. It feels like we're at our peak of our powers so far.
Sure.
I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
That's the big move,
Yeah,
right?
Infinity
It's the
Stone.
thing, yeah.
It's the big move to be able to go to Music City and start producing and really getting into it. Of course, right down the road from us, so we know lots of artists from Nashville area and producers and writers. It just goes on and on and on. So that is very cool that you guys are able to do that. What was the inspiration behind this this new album, and if there are any tracks that that kind of stand out to you more than others?
Yeah, I mean, the inspiration, I think, is really just starting to understand who we are as a band, and also kind of, we've been doing this for a while, so processing what's important to us and what was important at the start of the band is not really what's important right now. So a lot of that, just kind of reflecting on time and that kind of stuff, is worked into the album. We'll all have favorite different tracks. So
Yeah, I was hoping, yeah.
we'll each list one for you. So you want to go first?
Yeah, the opening track of Good Times Were Dollars was not my original favorite, but it became the opening track to our set list when we play live. And just as it's developed and the sound and the fun, and especially hearing some of the lyrics back from the crowd and the way we banter on stage, pizza boxes has become a thing that nobody really knows about except for us. But the yelling on stage during sound check, during the actual show has become a really nice memory focal point for the song. So I think of that as, my favorite on the album right now.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Pressure's on, Matt.
Yeah, I gotta top that somehow. I think every song on this new album is like somehow the best possible version of the 502, so it's really hard to go wrong. It's the version of the band that I think we've always envisioned, and very much feels like our sound. Hey Honey, for me, is definitely a special favorite. The way that one came together, we were writing it on the road, we put a banjo in the hand of Nick, our bass player, and he somehow came up with this amazing lick. And we just wrote this whole song around that. It was one of the last songs we finished, actually, I think. So glad it made it on there.
Cool. It's hard to tell if they've listened past the album.
Yeah.
It's track 1 and track 2. So I won't list track 3.
It was good.
Yeah, you want to though.
No, that's probably out there. No, I like Perfect Portrait of Young Love.
Okay.
That was also one of the last ones we wrote, and kind of just had that energy of us sitting in a room, and like, we think this is cool.
Yeah.
The chorus is cool. The verse is cool. How do we make them work together? And we were able to figure it out.
Excellent. Now, obviously, you guys mentioned, especially in the beginning there, talking about performing the songs live. That leads us to tonight performing at the Signal. We love the Signal, by the way. We have a great relationship with them, and it's going to be a great place for you guys to perform too. It's the theme, I guess, for the tour is the Great American Road Trip. Let's talk about why we're calling it that. Obviously, it is that in some form. I can only imagine. So, talk about the tour and why we should be excited for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the tour, the name came from the fact that we have been traveling and doing road trips and shows for the last couple of years pretty consistently, and we were trying to think of something. We've done things like the Perfect Night tour last year, and we just were like, well, what is it going to be? It's going to be a big road trip. It's our first year on a tour bus, so that kind of played into
cool.
it. Like, it's the band, there's the crew, it's really like feels like a full tour experience. So that's where the name came from. Tonight, I know you were saying you've seen some clips, but just high energy, fun. You can
Yeah.
hopefully you can tell we all genuinely like each other. It's the same way on stage with everybody else there too, with Sean and Nick and Gracie. So it should be a fun night.
Yeah, I think it was rambunctious energy is how you guys reported
Yeah.
to have a live performance that has a lot of rambunctious energy.
So that's right. A lot of jumping.
Yeah.
Jumping jacks minus the arms.
Yep, yep.
Well, it's good. Should be a good time. The Signal is a great venue, like I said, people up top and below, and just to be able to be there. And Chattanooga is definitely ready to see you guys hit the stage, and we're excited for that. Obviously, the tour is main focus. The new album we're still promoting, but what is maybe a future project that we are working on or something? What's the thoughts for the future?
Yeah, we're working on writing a new album that we'll probably record at the start of next year, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll put it out at the end of next year, and probably a live album in the winter.
Okay.
So a couple months from now.
Something to look forward to for sure. We'll be sure to follow you on socials and on our website. We'll have all the links instead of inundating people with all the jargon. We'll make sure that they go and get it nice and easy to deliver. They'll find it on our website. One final message. If you want somebody that's going to listen to your music, whether they see you live or follow you, listen to any of your albums, what is something that you want people to take away? Final question. What something you want? You can all answer it. Something that you want to take away from your music.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal, I guess.
I think the feeling of belonging is something that we always talk about. That when the band started, to us, happiness was outward happiness.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of evolved into accepting yourself, feeling like you belong somewhere. So for me, that's what I hope people take away when they listen and/or come to shows.
Sure. Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea that you belong in the 502s is a constant driving force behind us, and the 502s are a family, and everybody is welcomed into that family. So whether you're at a show or listening to the record, we hope that that's the feeling that everybody gets from us.
I like the theme of positivity in music. And it's not something I think about all the time when I listen to a song. But I think with us, it's almost so outwardly clear. You're about to listen to a rambunctious band sing songs about you belong and happiness and family. And that's where it really lands for me, is that this music in any part of your life, whether it's an up or down, should bring you some positivity in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that question.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I think, and that's great, and I completely agree with what you're saying. The music that I have listened to, it's definitely a positive feeling behind it. And there is some type of, I don't want to say stigma, but it's almost cool not to be positive sometimes, you know? I don't like it, but that's just the way that it is. Sometimes it's just like that negative feeling, or just, I'm too cool to be positive. So it's nice to see, and it's refreshing to see a band like yourselves kind of break that a little bit down and be like, no, it's okay to be positive. You do belong. Let's have a good time together. And like you're saying, that rambunctious energy is definitely key.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're excited to see you at the Signal tonight. Thank you so much, Ed, Matt, and Joe from the 502s. Make sure you follow them on social media. And again, tonight at the Signal, these guys will be hitting the stage. In fact, in our next video, keep watching because we're going to do a little bit of an acoustic performance. Sound good?
Sounds great. Thanks
All right.
for having us.
We'll be right back.